Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I will tell you about one strange book in which the villain wins and the hero loses. So the books that we generally read, the novels that we generally read, in all of them generally the hero wins, especially if it is a crime thriller and a neo-noir western classic. Generally the hero wins and the villain loses, but in this case the opposite happens. The hero is shot dead in the end and the villain wins, and you can't actually call him the villain because there is so much depth to this character. So the book I am talking about is this one, No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. And those who know this person know the writer Cormac McCarthy. He had written two books. He had written so many books, and out of them are Blood Meridian and The Road. Those two are very famous, and you will probably know about his writing style, that he does not use any quotation mark or any inverted comma or any exclamation sign. So sometimes it becomes very difficult to read, but once you develop a habit to read his type, you will become addicted towards his writing style. So in this book, I think probably many of you have seen the movie also, but the book is something special because you will get to know so many different things, and you will get to know about each and every character. There is so much depth to each and every character, like the character of Anton Chigurh. If you look at the movie, you may think that he is the villain, but actually he is not. He represents something else. So let me first tell you the story of that book, what is written in this one, No Country for Old Men. So this novel starts with, there are basically three main characters. One is obviously our hero of this story, Llewellyn Moss. Another is Sheriff Ed Tomble. Another is the antagonist of this story, Anton Chigurh. So the story starts like this. A drug deal goes wrong in somewhere in US, in Texas, and Llewellyn Moss stumbles upon that scenario, and he unfortunately or fortunately finds a suitcase carrying $2.4 million, and he sees that all of the men are dead, and the last man surviving of that gunfight, he was also dead. So he gets that money, and now he tries to figure out how he can save himself from all the perils that is going to come towards him. So that is basically the entire story. So he goes to his house and tells his wife Carla Jean to go to his mother's place so that he can stay with that money and hide to some place where the Mexican gang and the hitman they have recruited, they can't find him. So now we see comes in the picture the main villain of this story. Not actually villain, something else, that is Anton Chigurh. So he represents death. Every character that he counters meets with something else. Means either he dies or lives, and in 90% cases he dies. That is the strangeness of this character called Anton Chigurh. So now there is another character named Sheriff Ed Tomble. So he is the police officer, and he is researching about the drug deal that went wrong. So from the very beginning we see that he stays completely out of the picture, and he is always one step behind, and the reason behind that I will tell you later in this video. So first of all, the Llewellyn Moss, the main character of this story, he hides in a motel, and after hiring that hotel, he hides his bag in a vent in the air duct, and he goes out to buy some shoes and some stuff. And when he returns back, he sees that his curtains are open, means someone else is already in the room. So he does not go inside his own room, and he goes to the reception and takes the next room immediate after that. Then he geniusly pulls that money out of that vent air duct, and in the meantime Anton Chigurh comes at that scene and he enters to Llewellyn Moss's room, means not the actual room but where he was previously staying. Now in that room the Mexicans are staying, so Anton Chigurh enters and kills all of them, but when he searches the entire room, but he does not find. Then he looks at the air duct, and when he opens it, the money was already gone. Llewellyn Moss pulls it from the other room and he leaves with that money. Then he goes to another hotel where we see there is a cat and mouse chase. Before that, we get to know in that story that Llewellyn Moss tries to find that how he is tracked so effectively. So he searches the briefcase, and he finds out that there is a transmitter placed inside one of those coin bundles. So he places that out, but that was too late. Anton Chigurh was already there, and there is a violent cat and mouse chase. We see both of them hit each other, and both of them got injured. But fortunately, our hero Llewellyn Moss gets the upper hand, and he takes that money and goes somewhere else. But since both of them were injured, they can't go too much further. So in the US and Mexico border, Llewellyn Moss throws that money into a ditch. And on the other hand, Anton Chigurh, since he was a wanted man, he can't go to the hospital or anywhere. So he robs a dispensary and gets all the items that were necessary to treat himself. So he goes and he takes the bullet out of his thigh and treats himself and stays there in a hotel for a few days. And on the other hand, Llewellyn Moss is rescued by some singers, and he was sent to a hospital with the exchange of some money. And after he gets cured, he comes back again and takes that money. But in the meantime, when he was in hospital, we see that the head of the Mexican gang, he recruits another hitman named Carson Wells. So he is after the money. So now after searching at several places, he finally manages to find the money where it is actually located. And when he returns back to his hotel, we see that he meets Anton Chigurh there, and now there is a big confrontation. And Carson Will tells Chigurh that I can give you the money, I know the exact location. But Chigurh tells that if the rules you follow brought you to this, then what use was the rule? Means he is not running after money, Anton Chigurh. He is the law of nature. He is an idea, and he does not deal with money. Same for our society. When you see that the capitalism rises and everyone become materialistic, then some revolution come or someone stands to make that system disrupt. Same thing happens here. So Anton Chigurh actually represent one ideology. He has a set morals, just like in the gas station chapter. In the beginning of the story, we see that he goes to a gas station and buys some necessary items, and when the gas station attendant asks him that are you from Texas, immediately Anton Chigurh sees it as a threat, and he asks counter questioning him. And in the questioning, he finds out that the gas station attendant has married into that business. So he sees it as a break of morality. Means according to him, the actual world should be in which people create their own business, people earn their own living. They should not be married into something. So then he tosses one coin and tells the gas station attendant to call it head or tail, and if he calls wrong, he will shoot him. So that is the case. So fortunately, the gas station attendant, he says head, and it is head. So Anton Chigurh leaves him. So we see that he follows a certain he has some certain moral values. He does not kill people randomly. Actually, he is the law of nature. Anton Chigurh is the law of nature, and he is chance. So much depth to this character. So now back to our own story. So we were at that place when Llewellyn Moss throws the bag into a ditch in US-Mexico border, and Carson Wells is now with Anton Chigurh. So Chigurh tells those things: if the rules you follow brought you to this, what use was the rule? Then he shoots him. Means he's not after. Means you can't make deal with nature. When something is wrong, nature will come and make everything in perfect balance. So Chigurh kills Carson Wells, and he says that the money will be brought to my feet. Then immediately after that, the phone rings, and we see that Llewellyn Moss calls Carson Wells, but the phone is picked up by, since Carson is already dead, the phone is picked up by Anton Chigurh, and there is a conversation between them, and Anton Chigurh tells Llewellyn Moss that I am going to kill your wife if you don't bring that money to me. So Llewellyn Moss immediately cuts that phone, and later on we see the consequences. So now there is another major character, that is Sheriff Tomble. So from the very beginning we see that the police is already one step behind the entire investigation. When Sheriff and his deputy goes to Llewellyn Moss's home, the Sheriff Tomble let his deputy enter first, and he does not even remove his revolver. Means he knows deep inside that whatever is happening, that is beyond my comprehension. Sheriff Tomble knows he is actually the main character of this story, and the entire saga related to Anton Chigurh and Llewellyn Moss. This is just one chapter of the infinite chapters that will happen, and Sheriff Tomble is not entering into that scenario because he knows that our society has gone too much down, and someone needs to come, some idea needs to come, and the law of nature will come to make everything in balance. And the law of nature is Anton Chigurh. So that's why we always see that the police is always one step behind, and Sheriff Tomble does not really enters completely into that. So now back to the story. We see that Llewellyn Moss fixes a meeting with his wife Carla Jean in a hotel, but then Carla Jean is approached by Sheriff Tomble, and he tells that I can save Llewellyn Moss from this unstoppable force of nature, that is Anton Chigurh. But unfortunately, when Sheriff Bell reaches there, we see that Llewellyn Moss is already dead. He is shot by Mexican gang. So that is a strange thing. Means the main character of our story, means the hero of this Western classic, is dead towards the end of this. So now people start questioning, then who is actually the main character of the story? So here our main character is Sheriff Tomble, from whose point of view the story is written. Now, on the next day after Llewellyn Moss is killed in that hotel, Anton Chigurh comes, and he knows exactly the Mexican couldn't find where the money is hidden, but Anton Chigurh knows his style of working, and he knows that he hides things in the air duct. So Anton Chigurh goes there and finds his money, and he lives with that. And on the next day, Sheriff Tomble comes there, and he sees that Chigurh is already gone with that money, and the air duct is open, the ventilator of that is open. So from there he realizes that Chigurh has left, but he never actually tries to enter completely into that picture. And later on we see one dream he is discussing about, that is left to you, means when you will buy this book, No Country for Old Men, then when you read, then you will know what is that dream about. So I have almost told you the entire story, and there is so much depth about each and every character, and I don't think it is possible for me to explain, because it will take 1 hour if I start explaining about Sheriff at Tomville, or if I start explaining about Anton Chigurh, or if I start explaining about Llewellyn Moss. But the main thing about the story is that in our society also we will see that so many revolutions happen, and some people with contradictory ideas, they stand in our society. So that is not necessarily bad, because if we stay in that age old system, then there may not be a good change that will benefit us. But someone needs to stand. When society becomes too much materialistic or capitalism grows too much, then people like Anton Chigurh thrives. That is the moral of the story. So this much. Now I will tell you something about the writing style of Cormac McCarthy. So I was watching one interview of him, and there he tells that when he starts writing, he just takes the pen and opens a blank page and takes it there, keeps it there, and the consciousness or the subconscious tells him what to write. It automatically comes into his mind. And according to Cormac McCarthy, the subconscious is a committee, and he tells, and consciousness is much more comfortable in telling people in stories and imaginations. It does not tell people directly that this is the solution or this is what you will write. He just takes the pen and subconscious tells him this is how he writes his books. In that interview also he told about some stories. One was that about Kekule's benzene ring. Those who are from chemistry, they will know there is something called benzene, 6 carbons, 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 carbons, and there is a resonance bond inside. And how that ring is formed, that scientist Kekule didn't know. So when he slept at night, after researching so much, he slept at night, and then he got a dream about the hoop snake. That means a snake who is trying to eat its own tail. And then he got that. Then he woke up and he got that idea that, oh, I think consciousness wants to tell me that this is what the benzene ring looks like. And that is the most famous example of how consciousness works. This story is told by Cormac McCarthy in one interview. And one more story is told that one mathematician from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, he was working in a mathematical problem, but he was unable to solve it. So one night he slept and he saw a dream that he was working with a famous mathematician from the movie Beautiful Mind. And he told that mathematician of MIT something, and he wrote something, he scribbled something in a rough page, and then he woke up and he got, okay, that is the solution, the problem that I couldn't find. So in this way, he believes in that thing that consciousness tells, and that is actually the reality. Consciousness tells us what to do. That is not what we humans generally tell. Means right now I am talking to you, but in my mind consciousness already knows what to say after this line, what I am going to say. That comes automatically. So he thinks it is a community, but in my perspective, consciousness is only one. There is no community. There is only one. Means in every single human being, in every plants, in every animals, even in this space, there is only one consciousness. That is a different part of spirituality. When you inquire about the question, who am I, then you get to that point. But so this much for today. So read this book. This is one of those rare books this is one of those rare books in which the villain wins, and he is not actually the villain, he is the law of nature. So this is special. Then there is also one movie adaptation, I think many of you may have seen, but the book gives so much more depth into each and every character, and the movie is also great. You can watch that, but the book is what I prefer. So this much for today. Signing off, Joy Ganguly, and I will see you in the next video.